Welcome. I'm Tanya Powell, and I live in North Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I am 55, and I wanted to really share some insights on I've always known about the hero's journey. The hero's journey, is this beautiful story about going a call for adventure and then kind of refusing the call and then getting some advice because they're suffering, right? And then you go through test allies, enemies, approach the innermost cave, so go within, and the ordeal in the abyss. So bringing the darkness, those shadows within you, up into the light. And, I'm kind of at that refusal of return point. Like, I don't want to go back in yet. And then slowly you come out of it. And you learn to operate in two worlds, the two worlds within you, the dark and the light, the shadow and the light, the masculine and the feminine, the private and the public could be brought into that. And as you go around, it's cyclical and it will come again. But I wanted to take this and relate it to going through perimenopause and menopause. And I just want to finish the arc because a lot of women talk about the heroine's journey, especially Maureen Murdoch. It's an inward, cyclical, and integrative. Midlife is not a call to prove worth; it's a call to reclaim wholeness. So now let's bring that circle into what I went through, which was perimenopause, and then trying to fix it with bioidentical hormones. I just got to push through. This will go away. Yeah. And then you hit harder. So then I hit adrenal fatigue. And just so you know, I run a business as a single mom and I have a daughter. And my daughter is 19 right now. And so she has witnessed this journey. She's witnessed this way of holding it all, so to speak, being the masculine, being the feminine, being the mother, being the father. She moved in with me full time at about 13 at her decision. Nothing that I was doing to convey to her, but just holding the space. And so, in holding that space, it worked really well. So, at first, one must separate from the old identity. This is quiet or not so quiet. For me, it was not so quiet, right? The roles no longer fit, whether it's caretaker, pleaser, achiever, fixer. I was a big fixer. And we know that as a female, we're automatically tend to be more empathetic and more caring. That's just, and especially if you're a mother, that is just part of what you've done. And that desire to help others from a highly sensitive person, empathetic, maybe you had some trauma as a child, and in order to survive, which is what you do as a kid, you're just in survival mode, and many of us are still not survival mode. You realize that you are so sensitive to others' energies. You're aware of what's going on all the time. It's hypersensitive. You're highly attuned. And it can be a gift and a curse because it can be really depleting. And so I ended up with adrenal fatigue and I ended up with my brain not working properly and ended up realizing I am the common denominator in all of this. And so what I did was I found a coach and I kept saying to that coach, my brain is just so busy. I can't get anything done. No, I am just so busy. And his reply was, aren't you a powerful manifester? You think these things, you speak these things, and your brain is giving you exactly what you're asking for. Well, that blue light bulb, bing. And so I went into a retrain my brain phase. And let's just go back to this separation from the old identity, because that's kind of step one. So I just wanted to fill you in a little bit more about me. Hustle feels hollow, right? External validation loses its power. You stop caring and wanting to please others. And I really think this is that call. This is that call to remind you that you don't need to play this anymore. You don't need to do this anymore. It's not failure, it's discernment. And it's discernment awakening within. And then we descend into what they say the underworld. Unlike the hero who fights dragons, the heroine meets herself. The phase can include grief for unlived lives, for that which you wish you did, but you didn't do. Anger no longer suppressed. It's gotta be released. Remembering that we trap every emotion within our body that we suppress. And emotions are energy in motion, and kids are quiet. Good girls don't cry, right? All those things that you kind of suck in. And especially me, I run a painting business in a male dominated industry. And before that, I was in the snowboard industry and retail, always a little bit male dominated. And, you know, I brought out much more of my masculine to match that, which can be really exhausting now that I know what I know. And so, physical symptoms with no clear cause, right? We don't know why. And often we don't need to know why right then, but it will come up and you will see. And time that you just withdraw and spend time with yourself. For me, it was a lot of time in nature and just really, putting up firm boundaries. I did a lot less. I went out a lot less. And I just learned to spend some time with me. Oh, what do I really want? Who am I really? Without the masks that I put on my entire life. And then we come to 3. So confrontation or exploration with the wounded feminine. This is where we get to see clearly, where we abandon ourselves to survive, where we internalized the patriarchal value systems, right? We, in that women's equality, we really went that direction. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's important to realize what that means for you individually. You were taught to be good instead of whole. It strips the illusions. But what remains? Truth. And then we go into reclaiming our feminine power. It's not about becoming softer or louder. It's becoming accurate, like you can pinpoint discernment, truth, authenticity, clear boundaries without explanation. You don't need to apologize. You don't need to give a reason why. And quite often, I would ask for, you know what? Thank you for the invitation. I'll get back to you tomorrow. Is that okay? Most of the time it is. And then I would make a decision because you can't make a decision. If it's always yes, then you're negating yourself. And this also actually really combines with your monthly cycle, whether or not you have your period still. Your monthly cycle, there's certain times when you would rather go out and certain times when you'd rather stay in. So it's about getting to know you and getting to know your cycle. There's nothing to add. If anything, there's a lot to release and let go of. Yeah. It's a growing respect for rest, cycles, and intuition. Refusal to perform wellness or spirituality. And you don't need to play spiritual. You don't need to, I'm going to do my meditation in the morning and then you blow up by 11 o'clock. You want to be in that meditative state all the time. In order to do that or become that, if you desire, is to be able to clear what is within, to release what has been trapped inside. And even me voicing this is helping to express. And then we start to heal that split of the masculine and feminine within us. It's where that polarity begins to resolve. When the action aligns with the intuition, when logic serves wisdom, structure supports embodiment. The more you release, the more light can shine through you. Yeah, it's about being in coherence. And then you get to come out of that, and we talk about wisdom and wise women. I mean, I so honor meeting women and their path because everyone's had such a unique experience. It's been such a beautiful journey for them. I love those circles of connection. And I do that through immersions. I do that online as well. So we're just rebuilding. I've gone through a big cycle for myself of about 8 months kind of offline and just being me and getting to the next level because it comes in cycles. Yeah. You're beginning to see patterns others cannot yet see. Speak less, but more precisely. Builds containers rather than chasing outcomes. Expectations will always lead to disappointment, especially expectations of others. Values connection over conquest. This is when we begin to be called to mentor, guide, create community, teach from lived experience, and build your legacy through connection, not scale. So I have some really interesting ideas I'd love to chat with women about around creating those communities, like remembering the village and remembering living on the land more. I tend to really bring in those women that may be retired or have flexibility to travel on their own. And a lot of them are seeking something new. And I think 2026 is the time. And that's why I'm here. Yeah. And this journey for us, it's not linear like time, and it's led by the body. It's, you know, it's led by the body. It appreciates connection over validation. Yeah. This is why so many of us are not drawn to traditional entrepreneurship. I'm doing a segue out of a journey out of one business into another. I've been doing immersions and travel for about 3 years now, and just really like it's been an add on. And now I'm ready to step more fully into it. Yeah. We don't want a guru and we don't want endless self improvement, do we? No. If anything, we want to let go of more so that we have that space for more connection. Yeah. Community, coherence, something meaningful. It's not about becoming new. It's about becoming integrated. And nothing was wasted. You're not broken. You don't need to fix. You don't need to heal. You're perfect as you are. And it's just divine timing right now. Remember that. And you have so many skills. Sometimes we just can't see our own skills. And so I invite you to my new Substack. I have no idea where this will go, but let me know in the comments what you thought. What was your biggest takeaway? Was there one? And I'm just really excited to be here. And I just needed something quieter from the noise of social media. And I find Substack really offered that. And so I may share these videos out later on, but for now, this is staying close to home, close to me, close to quiet. And I just so appreciated that you took the time to listen, and I would love a comment. Yeah, let me know what you liked and what your thoughts are, because this is a co creation. And remember, you are love.